All right. So, now this text table had dimensions going row wise and a dimension going column wise as well. So, we used only one measure to tabulate. Okay. Even though technically you can put more measures there, then that will make the text table even harder to read. So, it is advisable to use only one measure. But if you do not have a column dimension, if you only have dimensions going row wise, then you can add several measures side by side. Okay. So, here let's do that, and by the way, let me also show you. Suppose if you have worked on a table like this and you want to keep that table, and then you want to make some changes to show the values in a different perspective, right. So, you don't have to start from scratch, you can simply make a copy of this. So, right click and then you say duplicate. Okay. Then that will create a copy of this sheet, insert it. Okay. Now, let me rename this sheet 2. Okay. Now, let us say that we get rid of a region, don't want region. Okay. Remove, right. All right. So, now we have sales there. All right, let us remove the sales also, and all right. Okay, so, now the problem is that if you put sales here and then say profit also there, once again you get into the problem of the numbers appearing in each cell, the numbers appearing one below the other. It makes it really very hard to read. So, you rather want to have one entire column for one measure and a separate column adjacent for the second measure, and so on. So, to do that, what we need to do is bring in measure names, okay, into columns. Okay. So, that brings all the measure names as columns. Okay. There is nothing there yet. Okay. That is because the values have not been added. Okay. Now, if you bring in measure values, okay, measure names is simply a list of all the measures that we have. Okay, all the measures are these. So, these are the names. All of this is there in the measure names field. Okay. And for each of those measure name, we have the measure values here. So, if you bring in measure values and drop it into text, then you see the default aggregate measure is sum, and you have one column for each of the measures in the data. Okay, you get all of it. Okay. But you don't want all of it, you want only some of it, right. So, you bring in measure names again. Okay, measure names has the list of measure names, right, and drop it into filter, and now you can filter in what you want. Okay. So, edit filter. Okay. So, you click none, and then you say sales and profit. Okay. So, you have sales and profit side by side. Okay. Now, suppose we want profit percentage. Okay. And you want to color this with the profit percentage. So, which means that we have to create a new calculated field. We do not have the percentage profit. So, how do you compute percentage profit? You have to create. So, you can go and okay. There is okay. You don't have empty space here. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, here. Create calculated field. Right click and create calculated field, or analysis, create calculated field. We have done this before. So, it's a profit percentage, very easy. So, you have to sum profit and divide by sales. Okay, make sure that you have the calculations are valid. Okay, so now if you bring in profit percentage and drop it into the measure values, this is called what? Space. Okay, there is a special name for this. It's blocking. I'm not able to think of it. So if you drop it here, then you get the profit percentage in the text table. And it's all 0. You know why it's 0? Why? Exactly. So what you need to do is to go format it. So if you format, so here right now it is formatted as whole number. Okay, so that's why everything is 0. So change to percentage, and you get 2 decimal places as default, but you can change it to whatever you want. All right. Okay. So now suppose you want to do one more thing, and you want to highlight those numbers. Okay, so profit is less than, so you want to look at the underperforming product. Okay, and you want, so and suppose if you define underperforming products as less than 5% profit. As a matter of fact, later on we will see that you can make that into a user defined parameter. So users can put in whatever value that they want, okay, and you can use that value to highlight the numbers that satisfy that condition. So for example, here we go and create a new field. So profit percentage, say less than 5%. So that's just a name there. Okay, and you can this 5% can be user supplied value. Oops, we'll look at that later. So now this is just a Boolean variable. So you say profit percentage less than 5% is 0.05. Click OK. Okay, so you see the T/F, that's true false Boolean. So bring that in and drop it on top of color. Okay. So then you have a table where the numbers are highlighted based on whether the profit is less than 5% or not. And you can change these color combinations. Okay, like if you go and edit colors, you can change. So less than 5%, suppose we want to make that into, say, bright red, okay, like that. You can, so these are the different color combinations that are available. You can select and again, it's a matter of trial and error. Okay, you want really dark red, so that is true. Okay, now false. False. I don't know. What do you want? You want black for false? Then see. Okay, you want blue, say dark blue. Well, that's what we had before. Well, that works, I guess. Okay. So to change the color, you have to go and edit, and then select the data item for which you want to change color, and then you have to just look for the color that works best for you.